Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's episode of the Morning Call for the 7th of January 2026. I'm your host, Judell. I'm a client advisor here at MPC Markets, if you haven't met me yet. Look, it hasn't been a boring day in markets. We've had AI again lead the rally. The hype man himself, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, has delivered a keynote speech at the Consumer Electronics Show. And he's announced a new chip, which is supposedly 5 times faster than the previous chip that they have developed. Additionally, they have announced they are entering the autonomous driving game. So they have launched Alpamayo, which is their open source model for autonomous driving. So they will be competing with these others in the market, which is quite interesting, with an open source model. Similar to Comma AI, I think that's the only other open source model in the market at the moment. But very interesting. It would be interesting to see how they perform in that market. I think they've got some fairly good intel, which should put them in a fairly competitive space. So I'm keen to see how that kind of wraps up. Additionally, we have seen energy stocks have a bit of a pullback. We've had quite a lot of momentum due to the kind of geopolitical environment with Venezuela. And so there's been a bit of a pullback in the energy market in the US, which is fairly expected as kind of markets ebb and flow. But interestingly enough, Michael Burry, the world's biggest bear, has flipped bullish on US energy. So he does think that the markets are undervaluing the potential with what will happen in Venezuela and the US. Obviously, they have the world's largest oil supply. So there's a lot of opportunity in that. More oil in the economy equals lower oil prices, supply and demand. And then in the real economy, not the tech economy, that allows for more growth because obviously materials are cheaper, oil's cheaper, everything becomes a bit more affordable. So that's quite an interesting development and interesting to see Burry flip bullish. Other than that, I mean, indexes remain fairly strong, a bit of a pullback across the board in the US overall over the last couple of weeks after Christmas. And other than that, we are looking at the Fed quite closely, as that seems to be the major indicator in the entire market as a whole, the US Fed. And Fed Governor Steven Miller, Miller, I may be butchering his last name, which is Trump's pick for the Fed chair, has actually advocated for a 100 basis point rate cut. Which is opposing Jerome Powell's view, as he's still quite reluctant to cut rates. However, he will be out of the Fed's chair position in roughly 4 months. So, it is fairly likely that a Trump-endorsed Fed chair will, actually get the position. So, we are fairly bullish on markets after the 4-month period, and we kind of do anticipate a bit of excitement in the market leading up to that as well, in anticipation for a bullish Fed chair or a dovish Fed chair. So that kind of wraps up this morning in the market. As always, for at least the beginning of 2026, please have a look at the 2026 market outlook. It is one of our best reports in terms of kind of thematic objectives for this year. We've put a lot of effort into this one, and if you are looking to invest in 2026, this is the guidebook. And we will be doing a webinar later this month, kind of looking at some actionable insights for some particular stocks that we're looking at within these themes for 2026. So if you are interested, please have a look at the webinar. There will be a recording as well, so you will be able to catch it if you do miss it live. Other than that, obviously, get Mosaic. It's the best investing platform out there. If you want actionable insights, we do a 30-day free trial for your first month. So please reach out if you'd like to get that free trial. Other than that, thanks for joining today, and see you tomorrow.